Skateboarding isn't just a sport, it's a culture, a movement, a lifestyle. And for decades, the heart of that culture was captured in the glossy pages of skateboard magazines. Before Instagram, YouTube, or even skate videos, magazines were the lifeblood of skateboarding. Today, we're diving into the rise of skateboard magazines and the massive impact they had on skate culture. Skateboarding's roots trace back to the 1950s and 60s when surfers in Southern California wanted to surf the streets. But in those early days, skateboarding wasn't mainstream. It was a niche activity with no real infrastructure. That all started to change in the 1960s with the launch of the Quarterly Skateboarder in 1964, the first ever skateboard magazine. Published by John Severson, a surf filmmaker turned skate enthusiast, the Quarterly Skateboarder was more than just a magazine. It was a blueprint for what skateboarding could become. Severson captured the style, energy, and potential of skateboarding in a way that made readers feel part of a larger movement. But the 60s skateboarding boom didn't last. By the late 60s, skateboarding faded into obscurity. It wasn't until the 1970s, with the invention of urethane wheels and the rise of the Z-Boys, that skateboarding roared back to life. And along with it came a new wave of skateboarding media. In 1975, Skateboarder magazine emerged, and it quickly became the magazine for skaters. It wasn't just a publication, it was a cultural Bible. Skaters flipped through its pages to see the latest tricks, learn about the hottest gear, and find out who was dominating the scene. What made these magazines special were the photos. Guys like Craig Stetzik captured skateboarding's rebellious, raw energy. His iconic shots of the Z-Boys shredding empty pools weren't just pictures, they were art. They told a story of freedom, rebellion, and creativity that resonated with a generation of skaters. By the 80s, skateboarding had taken an even grittier, more rebellious turn, and so did its media. While mainstream magazines like Thrasher and Transworld Skateboarding dominated, underground skaters started making their own DIY zines. These handmade publications were raw, uncensored, and full of personality. These zines were a reflection of skateboarding's DIY ethos. They gave a voice to local scenes and underground skaters who might have been overlooked by bigger publications. It was skateboarding at its purest, a community documenting itself. And then there was Big Brother. Launched in the early 90s, Big Brother took skate mags to a whole new level. Known for its absurd humor, shocking content, and complete disregard for political correctness, Big Brother became a cult classic. It wasn't just about skateboarding, it was about pushing every boundary imaginable. Big Brother didn't just influence skaters, it inspired the creation of MTV's Jackass. That's the kind of cultural reach skate magazines could have. But these magazines weren't just about tricks and gear, they were cultural artifacts. They chronicled the evolution of skateboarding, from the empty pools of Dogtown to the street skating explosion of the 90s. They shaped the identity of skaters around the world. Today, skateboarding media has moved online. Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok have taken the place of magazines, but the impact of those print publications lives on. They created a sense of community, celebrated the art of skateboarding, and documented its history. Skateboarding is more than a sport. It's art, rebellion, and culture rolled into one. And skate magazines were the megaphone that amplified it all. They showed us that skateboarding wasn't just something you do, it's something you live. This is Culture Chronicles, where we dive into the stories that made America's subcultures iconic. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more tales from the underground.